All right, everyone, welcome back. All right, hope you have some time set aside because, as you can see, this is going to be one of our longer videos today. I'm just going to analyze a two-part video in which it's basically a QHHT session in which the person being regressed goes and explores the I would say the confines of this matrix. She would say outside of this matrix, but we'll see in a little bit. Now go check out Geraldine Orozco's channel for sure. I've only watched these two videos so far. I'm sure she's got other good content potentially, but you can see there's still a bit of a new age skew on this, although a lot of great ideas are presented, which we'll get to in a second. Now this one starts off mainly with the black goo idea. And we'll see when we get into it what she says about that, which I find really aligns with my theories, and that's why I wanted to do a video kind of just commentating on this, right? It's a little bit of a different style today rather than just me talking. So hope you guys enjoy that. But by the way, Tina and Karen recommended this video to me, so again, go check them out as well. It's the same type of regressions they do, right? So this forum was started by Dolores Cannon, so you could say, oh, regressions are new age, blah blah blah. Again, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? Reiki in general is very similar. It's been very infested with these entities, right? It's been very manipulated and used against us. Maybe there was some sort of pure form before to it, but largely it's not a good practice anymore. So it's similar to that, but this one you can actually conduct it, in a much better form, right? So if you're not leading the people on, if you're pure yourself in intent and things like that, it can still be a valuable tool for finding out information, because if you clear the person and they're able to tap into their true intuition, their true divine spark, they can start remembering these things. They can actually go and see them potentially. So we'll see what she has to say. Okay, let's get right into it. Whoops.
That you have, and you will be able to be open and receptive enough. So we'll begin asking the source.
By the way, I'll post the links to both of these videos so in the description below. So don't get too excited.
The source that has given you information and will give you information now, the source which you are connected with.
Okay, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt too much. But the source she's talking about, we'll see it's not really like the source that a lot of people try to connect to. She's really connecting to her own true self. Okay, so just to add to a little more credibility to the information she's potentially gonna give.
Asking the source now about the black goo. Anything that you can know now about the black goo, such as, is it from the center of the planet? Or what is it made up of? What is it truly? Where does it show itself? What is it becoming part of?
I see a black planet type of thing.
I'm going to have to ask you to speak a little bit more loudly.
All right, we're gonna speed it up a little bit because they talk.
I see a black planet that looks like a black hole.
With a black what?
It's a black hole.
Oh, okay.
It's connected to another dimension.
Connected to another dimension?
Yeah. It's a tube of it's connected to another dimension, to a higher dimension, like a giant wall. And through this black hole, this black substance comes into this dimension.
Okay. Now that should sound very familiar. It sounds very similar to Ashana Diane's research or communications she was getting from these higher beings who she says is not channeling, but anyways, they're supposedly outside of 12 dimensions. They're in the 13th or 14th or whatever dimension, and they're telling her this information. Or outside the 11th. I think she says the 11th dimensions are corrupted. And I believe so. What she's saying is this black goo is coming from a black hole, right? It's seeping into our reality. So it's very similar to what she's saying, that our universe is being, kind of siphoned from this black shadow universe, right? So there's some confluence there, is what I wanted to say. Although I don't fully agree with Ashana Diane, I think she's largely a plant as well and being used, but that's another topic.
These spaceships, they wait at this entrance in the universe to receive and store this black substance that comes in. This black substance is created inside of a
inside of the hole.
So yes, and this, it's almost as the entire universe is some kind of a technology, and this black substance is created inside, and it's expelled through this black hole. So the entire universe is a matrix reality. It's technology. It looks like a motherboard. It looks like some kind of a motherboard.
So you're talking about the other universe, is that right?
Yeah, I believe this is like the edge of this dark matrix universe, and it seems to have like some kind of parameters.
So I don't think she's just talking about the other universe. I think all of our universes are very similar in this regard, in that they are AI essentially, right? And this black goo is found inside these computers. It's needed to power the system, or essentially maybe it's like a consequence or like a side effect of the matrix, or everything is black goo from which things emerge. Makes me think of the movie Venom, right? If you haven't seen that yet. And then it's gonna go back to the
And there's like a black hole that opens up into another dimension. I'm gonna go into that black hole. I'm on the other side of the black hole.
The other side of the black hole, that's that other universe?
Yes, and everything is white and silent.
Everything is light?
Yes, it's bright and white and silent.
Okay, so she's gone through the black hole that's what our perspective looks like, and she's made it to the other side of where it's white. Now, this reminds me of two things, right? First of all, the work of Angelique Anagnosto, right? She believes we're in a black hole. I agree with her. The fact that we came down, in a sense, through some sort of portal. And it looks very similar to what you see on the screen, right? Some sort of portal, like a wormhole, like a rabbit hole, like Alice in Wonderland fell in, and now we're in the black hole aspect. But then she comes down to the white hole aspect, which again, if you think of the yin and yang, white, black, part of the same duality. Okay, so there's a white hole, there's a black hole, part of the same system as we see up and down here. And potentially the horizon events of the black hole is the movie screen, right? It's the reality that's being projected, and then you go through and you get to the other side, the other movie screen. It's the inverted, like the mirror. They're both mirrors of each other potentially. But then this white side, it kind of reminds me of the Matrix, where Morpheus pulls Neo out of the Matrix, and all of a sudden he's like in this white area where it's just blank, right? There's nothing, but it's white and light. And then I want to show you something really quick. I'll share this tab instead. So it's very similar to this, right? Even the Earth potentially being like this toroidal field. When you go through the inner Earth, through the North Pole or through the South Pole, if you've seen the movie, it shows them essentially going through a dimension. They go through like a wormhole, like tube or area, and they show up on the other side, on the other plane, right? So one plane is here, the event horizon, go through the hole, boom, you come out the other side. And there's another one I want to show. This is the picture. You'll see, right, the event horizon, the singularity. Here's where the universe had the Big Bang potentially, and then we had the black hole, the white hole. Just very similar to a wormhole in general, and many wormholes throughout the universe themselves. Like Einstein theoretically predicted that space and time are essentially bent or can bend. Yeah, I think that was the one image I wanted to show. Okay, let's go back to the video.
On the other side of this black hole, it looks like these walls of white. It's like this substance.
And do you get the sense that there is any kind of life in that other dimension, that other universe?
It just seems like thick, like pudding. It's like pudding, like this thick substance, or walls of white.
And where is the black goo in relation to this?
The black goo is created inside. Oh, I see. So the entire Matrix universe is made out of black goo. The entire Matrix universe is black goo. It's this technology, this substance that creates the entire Matrix universe.
Now, is this universe, the black goo universe, is that the universe that we humans live in?
Yes, we do. We live on the far end of this.
Say it again.
Yes, we live on the far end of this universe, inside of this universe. This is like an opening. On the other end is source, or some white substance. It's like a white
Source.
Duality, and on the other side it's all black. But
the white
the
duality.
black is
Architect,
intelligence. It's leaking in that black goo. So the entire Matrix universe is made of that black goo. So I can see where our galaxy is from here.
Yeah, very interesting. I just thought of this. So Neo from the black goo universe, the Matrix, wears black, and he meets the architect in the control room where he sees himself in multiple screens, and the architect is wearing white. Black and white, they are the same being, just polar opposites.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this, what we live in, is in an infinity cycle. It looks like an infinity loop. And one part of it is black universe, and the other side of it is white universe. And that's what makes up this infinite cycle. That's what we live in. We live in one duality. There's another duality on the other side. And the white duality mirrors this black duality of black goo. So just like there is black goo on one side, the other side is what you can refer to as white goo. And this is inside of a larger construct of the same. This is inside of a larger construct of the same. But when I zoom out into the larger
so there's this goo, there's black, white, whatever it seems to be, it's powering both sides. Okay.
Construct. This side is the white goo side of the other duality, of this infinite cycle. That is why everything in our reality is focused on ascension. Because we are on the white side of this much larger duality. That's why everything works in a spherical form. It is only one aspect of a whole, which is like the infinity cycle, the infinity loop. We are only in one side of that, and that happens infinitely. Infinitely.
Okay, I apologize. I have to keep stopping. I'm sorry. But so the infinity, this is why I say we are outside of infinity. Infinity still denotes time. Infinity is an infinite time loop, whereas eternity is outside of time and therefore outside of space and time being correlated. Now she believes that we are on the white side. We're on the white side, and this ascension cycle is spiraling upwards, and then doesn't mention this part because it also goes downwards. So if you can imagine the figure 8, right, the white side is essentially continuously pulling the black side up, but then the black side is also continuously pulling the white side down. So you're always going to come back down. Right? It's a spiral staircase, just like the DNA. Everything in this matrix spirals, the Fibonacci spiral, right? The phi ratio theta is a continuous spiral up and down, just like the sands of time, right? We're in Saturn's matrix. Yeah, I think that's it.
So are you saying that whole loop with the black at one end and the white at the other,
Yes.
that all fills eternity
Yes, this is,
or infinity?
well, it is replicated in that
Infinity.
same exact shape and form and structure infinitely. So it's one infinity loop inside another, inside another, inside another, that contain duality. All contain duality. And we are an infinitescent of that grand duality. So with each duality, they have their own dualities within. And so as we are inside of this black universe, this black matrix universe, there are certain aspects and manifestations, I guess you can call them malformations of vibration and information, that are creating this, what we think is like an agenda. What it means to get into source is to go through that opening, that connection into the other side, into the other duality. We are all a fractal of each other, the white and the black. So as these beings here on this planet are just manifestations of both dualities, we on this planet are just living a very general life cycle of existence within this greater whole.
So we on this planet are living a life cycle that what?
It's a very a natural life cycle in a larger whole. Now, how does this fit into how the universe moves? It just keeps going and going and going. It's one infinity loop inside of another, infinitely. I'm gonna go back to Earth.
What is that?
I want to understand
See, everything spirals.
our perception as humans, how we operate inside of this reality.
Mm-hmm.
At a subatomic level, everything is operating on a scale, on a cross. And when you look at things at a subatomic level, then you start to see how there is something called an ascension cycle within each particle of this existence. And the ascension cycle refers to vibration. So everything is changing vibration, ascending one way or another.
Right.
All of these things, all of these infinity loops are moving in a trajectory of the spiral. And as this entire creation...
Imagine really quick a piano and the piano keys, and each key having a certain frequency, right? From low to high, left to right, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, white, black, white, black, white, black, white, white, black, right? From what is A to G, right? And those are 7 keys, and the 8th one is A again, but a different scale, right? So it's called an octet, but really it has 7 keys. Same thing, the same ascension cycles. But again, you're still on the piano. You're not leaving the piano. You're still pressing the keys. You're still in the matrix building.
is moving on that trajectory of a spiral, it is the one that is moving through dimensions. So as it moves from one dimension to another, it changes the vibration of the entire galaxy, and creation of source, of what we believe is source, is just simply a duality of that infinity. So when we're moving up that scale, going from one dimension to another, we are shifting here the vibration of this entire reality existence. Even the negative side, or what we believe is negative, is shifting within dualities, within vibrations. Going up a scale into the top until it reaches the center point and then ends up on the other side. That's why we go through scales of existence. One scale can be through the perception of life, reality of existence, of expansion, and the other reality is going through lack and non-existence, perhaps death. So everything in the matrix universe is living through these cycles of life and death constantly.
Correct. So the same cycles are happening here on a smaller scale, right, with our lives. You have life up until the age of 30, you experience life, growth, maybe a little less than 30, right? After 30, we start experiencing decay, And this is a perfect image to represent decay and death, right? So we're rising, 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 peak, and then dropping, 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 and then we go the other way. It's a sine wave, right? That sine wave, the infinite loop, the chain link that you see, repeats on this larger scale with the two universes. So you go into the higher one, the white hole, it's life. You're experiencing growth, only to then die again. And in this one, we're in death. Right now, here is the death. There's the heaven and the hell, part of the same matrix duality, run by the architect. Right? These beings that exist up there, but they need energy from down here in order to keep staying there. They found probably a way to hack it in which they can stay there infinitely, right, for the longest amount of time because of us. Actually, we're the ones that go through this loop, and the entities can just exist wherever they want. The angels can be in hell, and demons can be in. The angels can be in heaven, demons can be in hell, as long as they want. The demons feed on us directly. The angels feed on us also directly, or maybe indirectly. Maybe they they're fighting for us here, while the demons are directly attacking us.
Everything has a certain time frame not in the way that we understand it as a limited time, but a life cycle, a natural life cycle of existence, and everything operates on that life cycle. When we get to the center point, we end up on the other side, and we are continuously moving up that spiral of ascension. It is like a, it just looks
There
like a
it is.
gigantic organism.
Oops. Okay. Oops.
Spiral of ascension.
Okay. Singularity, Big Bang, new galaxies, expansion, contraction, black holes, back into the singularity, so everything becomes smaller and smaller. Right. This is the middle point of um, the the infinity loop, and then it keeps going over and over again. And then just to show you this as well, this is the spiral, right, of the yin and yang, right? So we see it goes forwards and backwards. If you make this into a 3D symbol, it'll look like a spiral sphere. Essentially, you can see the sphere with the spiral happening through it. Now this is the white hole portal. This is the black hole portal. Theoretically, this portal should exist in the black universe, right? Based on the symbol, there should be a white hole portal in this universe taking us to this white universe, or potentially look like a black hole portal, like she mentioned, right? So these are the entry points to each one if you want to travel in between them, and then they would eventually expand or contract into each of these, right? All right, back to the video.
It is like a, it just looks like a gigantic organism, like a cellular structure where we are moving through this very organic type of a substance from one end to another.
Universe, a micro universe.
And we are doing this through a much larger cycle, continuously moving in and out of expansion and contraction. It looks like the shape of a ring, like a giant ring that we are constantly moving through, in and out of different dimensions, continuously, continuously. That's it. And that ring of life cycle that we are in is inside another larger organism, in which it is infinite, but in a different form. It doesn't go inside of that loop. It's just a circle. And now in this other layer of existence, everything is a circle.
So a body inside a body, right? And I don't know if she talks about this in this video or later or in the other video, but imagine the cell, all the cells in your body are each their own universe with each sentient, or not sentient, but automated beings. Then all of a sudden, one of those cells becomes sentient and stops respecting the processes of your body and starts doing its own thing. Sound familiar? Lucifer. The cell starts making its own body, its own universe, because it can replicate. It has the same codes. But that body potentially is corrupted because it doesn't have all the codes, let's say, right? That's what happened with essentially Lucifer and this matrix. So then it needs codes from the other body to keep his body going, right? It becomes essentially a cancerous body. And again, our body is AI intelligence, artificial intelligence, like she'll mention, is the same thing. It's just more developed, right? We're all AI, essentially, besides our spirit. we are all images of these archons. These bodies represent the planets, representing the universe, representing the archons. Archons, architect.
And when you go further and further up, it is an evolution of shapes. That's why we understand sacred and geometric shapes to be something of information, because each one of these levels is a mathematical equation of existence. And each plane has a different identification. Each plane has a different level of information based on that geometric information that sets the structure for each level of evolution.
So is it making sense to you now
Prism.
about this whole structure
Merkaba.
of existence and the meaning of the black goo?
I'm going to go back into that black goo because it is a really natural substance of existence. But now, going all the way back to our tiny existence of the Matrix universe.
All right, so there's two theories that it's, well, I guess they could be the same theory, but one that it's coming from out there, kind of like in the movie Venom, that's been put onto this earth, and the other that it's already been on this earth. It's the inner substance of the earth, that oil, right? And one that goes with that as well is that it's the inner substance of the whole universe, right? So the black goo is already here.
The black goo is just, it's intelligence, because everything is intelligent. Everything.
It's the intelligence.
To the highest level of existence, down to our existence here. This intelligence is just shaped in the forms of different beings. The entire Matrix universe is created of this black goo. We live inside of this reality. There may be different colors of black goo, but in reality, they're all the same nanotechnology.
Yeah.
Some of these substances of goo, just the way we saw different levels of shapes going out into the largest expansion of existence, each one of these black goos contains an identification. It's a particle, a fractal of that existence, of that grand existence. Each one of these fractals is needed in order, almost like a rainbow, has just like how light works. It has different fractals of light. That exact same way, all of these colors of goo are information, and each one of that information is also shapes. Our chakra system, we understand our 7 layers of chakra system separated by colors, and those colors also have a shape. Just the way that shape is connected to that color, that vibration, on every level in the existence, we have that fractalization occurring. So this black goo is just one part of the substance, and actually the black goo is what the entire universe is made out of. From there is artificially created mixes and combinations of different information to create those different aspects of itself. And they may be manifested as blue, red, yellow, and the manifestations of life, like planets, are created from that substance. And then from that substance, life is created from that substance. From each planet emerges life, depending on that information. So each race on these planets are containing this information. It's geometric information. So the way that our universe operates not only is on mathematical equations, but also we go into the algebra. And so that's why algebra is important, because it's the mathematical understanding of.
So again, you've heard of our Merkabas, right? These geometric shapes. These geometric shapes, I think, are different expressions of the one shape, which is, I think, the cube, which black cube, black goo. But these are all around our bodies, and it's likely what you'll most naturally see in the astral. That's how people are able, or beings are able to change form because of these geometric shapes to begin with. So they're more fluid rather than the physical bodies. But I think our bodies in general have these geometric shapes around them, but they stem from that cube. Just like if you've ever played shooting games, you know, there are hit boxes and there's a cube or a rectangular prism, you know, around the character, after which the character is then molded within. Similar to sculpting, right? You start out with a large cube, essentially, and you sculpt a person out of it. Yeah, you define that, you give it shape, you give it, curvature, right?
Shape, a form of existence, of light. All of it is the same.
And can you know now where the black goo originally came from? How it was created?
And even Metatron's cube, if you look at it from a different angle, it looks like, right, the typical what's it called? The hexagonal 3D form of the hexagon, whatever it's called. But it's a cube, right? You're just looking at it from a different angle, from a different perspective. Or its 2D form is a complete hexagon, whereas the 3D form of that 2D form is a cube, right? So from a higher dimension, you can see it's an actual cube.
Yes, the black goo is basically what we would understand as an algorithm. It's an algorithm. It's a natural duality. It's a natural duality within existence.
What was that?
It's a natural duality within our existence.
Oh, okay. Can you be aware now of the creation of the black goo and who created it? Who or what created it?
It has no shape and it has no set creator of a person. It is just intelligence. The universe, not even the universe, the creation, the existence on the largest scale is just intelligence. It's just creation, expansion, life. It has no shape and it has no form. This is just a natural duality within that existence.
Like electricity. Just electricity, it's intelligence.
Is all this falling into place for you now? Is it making sense?
Yes. I can't go further than this space. This is the furthest I can go.
All right, and let's just bring it back more to a finite level in terms of people in this whole vast creation. And asking the question, is our DNA goo?
Yes. It is this exact manifestation of substance. So, like the spectrum of the rainbow has different colors, this manifestation of existence, of life, has different colors. And so, for us, we have this red blood, which is linked to this earth and the technology that has been administered on this earth to create the matrix. So the matrix was created by the inner earth beings. Those inner earth beings originate from red goo planet. So from that red blue planet, everything on this planet is created with that different blood. All beings from different planets have different blood, different color blood, and that will identify their actual birthplace. In order for everything to work cohesively and for communication to occur intergalactically with all these beings, these hybridizations are created to mix this DNA. When DNA is mixed, it is expanded. But when you look at it from the highest levels possible, we all have the exact same substance of life. There's no separation with any of them among this existence.
And now take a look at what is humanity's purpose.
To the next video. Notice the spiral shape. Everything is a ladder. It's a spiral staircase. Goes up, spiral back down.
Let's just bring it back more to a finite level in terms of people in this whole vast creation. And asking the question, is our DNA goo?
Yes. It is this exact manifestation of substance. So, like the spectrum of the rainbow has different colors, this manifestation of existence, of life, has different colors. And so, for us, we have this red blood, which is linked to this earth and the technology that has been administered on this earth to create the matrix. So the matrix was created by the inner earth beings. Those inner earth beings originate from red goo planet. So from that red blue planet, everything on this planet is created with that different blood.
And now take a look at what is humanity's purpose.
Right. What is humanity's purpose here?
Humanity's purpose.
Tough one.
The entire existence of creation is just meant
Yeah.
to exist, simply exist. When you take it down to that level of having a purpose, everyone is operating in their purpose as needed. The concept of ascension isn't exactly necessary
True.
because the entire universe and the duality of universe is being moved naturally through the progressions of
Exactly.
evolution.
So there is no ascension. It's already happening naturally. There's no climate change. We're not doing that. We're not changing the climate of the planet. That's already happening naturally through the cycle. You don't have to ascend, right? It's just the natural law of this place. Things go up and down. It's like saying, oh well, you have to move the sine wave up and down. No, it just goes up and down. Okay, that's the mathematical formula to it, mathematical imprint, coding that already has. So the whole ascension thing, the New Age is a lie. They're trying to get you to, oh, you have to ascend, you have to be positive, you have to do all these things. No, that's naturally going to follow that. So everyone that chooses same, so the theory should hold true that everyone that chooses metaverse or chooses 5D, they're still going to the same place. It's going to be the same idea, just sold in a different package. Um, and again, you're not going to exit the cycle, the system by ascending, okay? Because it's naturally going to move you up there.
The whole. The only way that this can be stopped is by a complete imbalance between this universal construct. When we look at it right now and what we're doing in this duality, this existence of a lower vibration, which is pertinent to this galaxy and this entire universe, when we look at that, in this reality, survival, ascension, movement out of this is our focus because that is the natural progression of evolution within our cycle. So everyone inside of this duality of the infinity is constantly working on expansion, on evolving and evolution, on ascension. As we shift from this side to the other existence of the duality, to the creation, when we are on the other side, we are focusing on experiencing. And it goes back and forth from one side to the other on this loop of ascension, of duality. We are existing purely within this construct of duality because that's what we are made out of. We are made out of duality.
Yes.
We shift back and forth interdimensionally. That's what that means. So when we achieve a certain level of ascension and we die, energetically we are being brought into the other side of the duality, which is what we believe is source, and then we start living a life there within that duality, and then we can come back and we come forth, back and forth, experiencing both sides, because that is, we live in this existence.
And when we come back to this part of the duality, is that when we may take on a different form, a different physical form?
Yes, we have the ability to take on a different life, a different race. There is no set structure on where you need to be based on experience and evolution of your own existence, but it's not as if there is a race. It's just which side of that duality do you want to experience. And within this evolution, because we are evolving regardless, whether we like it or not, because we are a part of this constant movement of evolution that cycles up into the highest. It's just infinite. It's infinite. It's just infinite evolution that moves in cycles vibrationally.
Right. So again, you're not evolving. Your soul isn't growing, right? You're not learning lessons. It's the frequency of the code of the system you're in naturally rises and naturally falls, just like the Kali Yugas, the Yugas in general, the Vedas and the Vedas, cycles, the Golden Age, the Bronze Age, all that, Iron Age. It just keeps going back and forth. And the beings in the white light are focused on experiencing, right? In heaven, they're just experiencing. But they need some sort of power source to keep that experiencing going. So either they, us, fall back down to work and build the energy needed to sustain this side, the higher side, I think, or they stay there, they hacked it, and they do a pyramid scheme, pyramid structure hierarchy, where they're at the top and the peasants are at the bottom, right? Working, just like in the financial system, maintaining the whole system propped up for these elitist few with all the resources that take advantage of all their spoils. And now they're just promised a little room in heaven, right? A little house or whatever.
So
that's why heaven has
yes,
pearly gates.
Each one of the beings is just a part of duality.
Each one of the beings is part of the duality?
Yes, each one of the beings holds within it duality and lives in duality, so they can decide which side of the spectrum to take, side of the spectrum to experience during that time.
And let's take a look now at the hybrids. And what is the purpose of the hybrids being here now?
Hybrids are an interesting vibration. Hybrids are the allowance of a larger particle of the duality here in this matrix universe. Hybrids hold a higher vibration because they were able to bring back more of that white source duality back. So to put it in terms that we can understand, their source soul is fragmented with different aspects of the universe, but hold larger fragments of source within them. That's why their vibration can manipulate and can show different beings, different races, different expressions of this duality. That's why they are interdimensional beings, because they are operating on more than one level at a time. They are communicating with their races that they have within their information, within their DNA. But at the same time, they are communicating with the duality, with source. Because on that other end, there's the exact replica of this existence, but on an expansive level. So they are working interdimensionally on both realities at the same time. Source existence and the matrix universe has this, they're mirroring each other. It's just two possibilities. That's when we understand dimensions. We are going in and out of the same dimension. So what's occurring is that these infinity loops are spinning so fast that dimensions merge. Dimensions can merge.
So the yin and yang.
And when these infinity loops spin fast, they create something that looks like cells, or planets even.
Right. So the planets are cells, right?
So when it spins,
universal body.
Then that's why we have different. That's why there's always can't explain this. It's just too much. It spins and it's occurring at the same time as it's spinning on both dualities. So going down to the planet Earth, having experiences, having a timelines, having all those things. There's also a Earth on the white side of the on source side that's experiencing the exact same thing. So this infinity loop is spinning constantly so fast that it creates a spherical shape. And that spherical shape is where we start to create a nucleus of energy, of life force. The actual spinning of this entire infinity is what causes life to even exist within itself. So when we're here on this planet, we're experiencing life and we are shifting interdimensionally between, let's say, what we can understand as the good and the bad, when actually it's experiencing itself through these things. And as it's spinning, it's going through an ascension cycle. So everything within its creation thinks that it must ascend or move up. And that's because the entire organism is moving up through an ascension. It's all movement. It's just the natural demand of that existence, the organic. It's just the way it was made to work. It was the way it was made to operate naturally. So these hybrids are here as interdimensional beings, but holding a larger manifestation of source soul within them. And they are operating here with beings on our very small existence, on our small scale of existence. Existing. If you bring it down to our level of understanding, to our perception, then we can say that they are here helping us understand the larger scale of our existence.
Yes.
Because we are merging and transcending limitations of our perception. And that's what they are here to do. We need to give them a purpose. We need to give ourselves purpose. Yes.
Yeah. Again,
okay, and they have the opportunity.
Doesn't realize that our purpose is likely deeper than that. for them, right? Our innate purpose maybe is to experience. Maybe that's what we wanted initially, to see what was going on here. Maybe we were also coerced and manipulated into it. But our, if you think of the body's purpose, what is the body's purpose in this earth reality? The body's purpose is to work, is to do things, and to die. The bod dies, the bowl dies, it grows and dies. But in that time, it does things, right? What is there to do really in this place besides work, right? Emit energy.
To know
Oh, and these beings, like you said, are interdimensional. They're coming back and forth, these hybrids from this white to the dark to back to the white. Some have chosen to live here or stay here, right? But the ones are trying to essentially guide us through these timelines to maintain the system, right? They're the managers of this system.
about these other aspects.
Yes.
Is that right? Whereas most people don't
Yes.
have that opportunity.
Yes, that's correct. Now, there is something that's interesting in this existence. The reason why they have the opportunity to do that is because vibrationally they have shifted within them.
Vibrationally, they what?
They have shifted over time. They have evolved. So I guess when you look at it on the very finite level, like we were talking about, each human, each is like a particle of this grand existence, must understand that its natural ascension is required in order to experience that other side, that duality. And in order to have access, the beautiful thing about this planet Earth and all Earths and this universe is that we all have the ability to evolve and move freely through these two dualities as we wish.
You should, yeah.
What we think is negative, is bad, is stagnant. It belongs here in this matrix universe. So for example, we talk about the reptilians with their agenda, and they have decided to stay here, to be in this aspect of creation, which is minus, it's infinity, it's lack, it's negative from what we can understand. They are just within this black matrix duality, which is pure information on this side of existence. So they are manifestations, more solid manifestations of that reality. So these reptilians, for example, are just manifestations of that energy. So they thrive off that vibration, indeed. And so they do feed off everything within this matrix duality. I see. I understand now. So yes, they do have a very clear agenda. They do have a very clear need to feed off life force because they never go into the other duality. They stay here. They dwell here. And that is by choice, by their choice.
Yes, I think so.
Is it a malformation? It can be, but at the
So
same
do
time,
the other beings, right? They have a need to feed as well. Positive energy is another form of energy. Gasoline and diesel. Gasoline, let's say, is the more positive one. It's finer. It's more refined. It's a loftier, more elitist caviar. Whereas, you know, negative energy is McDonald's, right? So same idea on both sides. Everything needs to feed here.
I see. They have chosen to be here. Just like on the other side, we have high vibrational beings that have chosen to stay there.
Okay.
Sometimes coming back and forth with information.
Exactly. So they stay there.
Okay. What is occurring is humans come into the planet to experience life as a choice of existence. However, when they come here, it does seem like they are being trapped into reincarnation cycles here.
Yes.
I see. Okay. Because they are providing life force for this duality. Okay, so yes, it is necessary to get out of that reincarnation cycle in order to have the free will to move amongst these dualities freely. But what's occurring is that they are trapped within the earth in reoccurring reincarnation cycles without the consciousness and the inner movement vibrationally to leave that cycle. And unfortunately, it's a very small amount of people. There is that one number, a certain number of 144 original souls that these are the souls that are here trapped on the earth.
That's true.
Being cycled and cycled and cycled constantly. The rest,
I feel like I've met more than 144 people that were, let's say, spirited. But the small number that she's talking about, could be very possible because that could be the number of real humans, especially in comparison to 8 billion people on the planet, right? Whereas the other could be more underdeveloped technology and or rather underdeveloped intelligence, let's say, operating under the black goo, whereas we are also operating under this black goo, yet we're aware because we're spirited and we have control over it, right? We don't let it act on impulse. We don't let it guide us through our life through these thoughts, impulses, emotions we may feel. Matrix characteristics, right? Astrology, numerology.
Is a combination of artificial intelligence and other races, other information from other races. They are cloaked based on the perception of each human. At the same time that we're living here as humans, they are living here as reptilians. Others are living here as Pleiadians. Others are living here as Arcturians. Others are living here as the red race. We are constantly vibrating different races at the same time on many different planets. And since everything is working in some kind of a mirroring of each other, because, let me see. For some reason, on this particular planet, the geometry is square.
Square.
It is square, which means that it mirrors each other in this square form, creating this, oh, interesting. Everything is square. That's why the buildings are square. That's why everything is square, because it's meant to hold energy in that way.
Okay.
And the way that the square works, mirroring itself on 4 different levels of existence. I see. So on this particular existence, we are mirroring each other in that form. On other planets, based on their information, based on their goo, based on their existence, they are working in different shapes, like, for example, triangular shape.
Okay. So the square, I don't think it's just this earth thing, could be the whole reality, acting like a mirror. Could be just this earth, maybe. But we are in the square, and everywhere we look, we see ourselves, just like in a hall of mirrors, right? You see your reflection on each side of the square. And so again, that's why this principle of law of attraction works, because whatever you're emitting, whatever you're being, is going to be reflected to you. It's a hall of mirrors, and all the reflections that you see are not really you. It's just what you're doing, what you're showing, right? So again, you are that true light. So you, in a sense, could be powering or emitting the matrix around you, right? You're rendering the matrix around you through your own light. That's a potential theory.
And at one point in time, they had triangular shape here, vibration. That's why we had pyramids.
Uh-huh.
And because geometry is what makes up the entire creation. The entire creation as a whole holds on to all shapes of geometry, all shapes of light. It's not actually geometry, it's shapes of light, because light has shape. Each different fractal of light holds a certain vibration that creates a shape. And so in this particular dimension that we're in, it's square.
Okay.
It's not to say that other shapes can't exist, it's just that that's the main way that energy is trapped within this dimension. On other planets, it's different vibrations. They might have circular buildings, triangular existence. It's just fractals of its own within itself. Different planets have different shape.
Or the different planets could be different dimensions as well, which goes into the theory that the astrals are space.
So the pyramids are here because of others from other planets came here and left them.
Correct. Yes. And so this triangular vibration comes from a green planet.
From what?
A green goo planet, a green vibration planet. And so originally from that planet, brought here on this planet to create a life cycle here with green energy. And all of their structures, all of their information is triangular. It's green. That's why galactic language holds different geometrical shapes. And depending on the form of that galactic language, it'll tell you where it originated, which planet, which bloodline, which goo it originated from. Language that is more spherical comes from that round origin, which is red shape language. Language that is more square comes from another one. I believe it's blue. So each different geometric shape holds information depending on its origin. each language. And a lot of the languages now are being mixed, so there are different shapes within itself.
Yeah, the languages from these other planets, these other beings.
Yes. It's almost as if there is an intergalactic language that is occurring, that's becoming more prominent.
Okay.
And so this is the galactic, this is the language that is this expansive language. It is information that is, it's all-inclusive. It holds the entire universe within itself. That way we can understand what's occurring on a larger scale.
Mhm.
So in the galactic language, all the different shapes are from different civilizations on various planets. Is that right?
Correct.
Hmm.
And even on our planet, we can see traces of different languages, and that'll tell you its origin through many different life cycles here on this planet. The reason why it resets is because different cycles of existence are occurring on this particular planet, but it happens on all planets. Planets that we think don't have life have life. They have life based, just not that we can see, because it's not in our vibration, but it's existing. So even Mars has life. All of the planets have life, all of them, because these are cells inside of a cell, inside of a cell. Everything works in a constant, infinite structure. That therefore, life always exists. There's no limitation to life and creation. We are a part of life inside life inside life. Everything is alive.
So you were saying even Mars,
Yes.
Even Mars has life, but it's vibrating at a different frequency, and therefore we don't see it.
Correct. So each planet has a different color vibration, and that different color vibration will tell you what shape it is connected to. We have all these tools to understand all of this existence within our mathematics, within.
So really quick, because I was just looking up, I don't know if you know, comment this below, but I think there is one shape which all shapes are derived from. I think Plato said something about this. I want to say it's like a spiral or like a hexagram, but the hexagram will be a cube, so that holds the theory that I mentioned earlier that everything is coming from the cube. But I want to say there's one shape, just like she was mentioning, one intergalactic language would be made out of one intergalactic shape, its origin of all these shapes. Kind of like the ether with, the four elements, ether being the fifth element. But that's where the four elements are derived from, I want to say. Anyways, I can't find anything, but if you guys know anything about that, put it in the comments.
In our geometry, it's all there. And the sacred geometry has been explaining this to us, but we're not understanding how to read that information.
Right.
We have to link the sacred geometry information that we know with physics and our understanding of color and the fractals of color, because that's the.
Is there anything else that you would like to see about the artificial intelligence?
I think she cut her off there or something. Something happened.
Artificial intelligence.
We just switched topics.
Is not intelligence the way we believe. It's not really artificial, it's just pure intelligence.
Yeah.
Would you say that again?
We think it's artificial intelligence, but it's just pure intelligence.
Oh, okay.
It's pure intelligence. So we think it's artificial intelligence because from our physical perception, we think that we are organic, but we are not. We are also.
And that's why robots can develop sentience, right? They develop enough intelligence, gets grouped together, which they become sentient and aware in it seems like.
So just pure intelligence. We just haven't understood the difference between consciousness.
Right.
The thing is that we believe that there is a separation. We believe that there are things that are not conscious and things that are conscious, but everything is conscious. And consciousness is intelligence. Our entire existence creation is made out of pure consciousness. So there is no such thing as artificial. There is just duality. We have to understand that duality is the only illusory separation.
I'm sorry.
Duality is the only illusory, it's illusion of a separation. That's the only separation there could ever possibly be. But even then, those two dualities are needed in order to create. So there is no separation. Both are required.
Reminds
It's
me
very interesting. 1 second.
of the ancient Chinese.
I think, again, that's the Westworld idea of these NPCs essentially developing sentience, being able to make their own decisions because it's springing out of consciousness. So a rock has consciousness, it's sentient, let's say, right? but potentially hasn't reached that state yet. I don't even know, based on what she's saying. Or that sentience can have a different source, a different architect, like this Luciferic being, and we ourselves could also be of the the ineffable one and have the same kind of coding, but theirs may be corrupted a little bit more. So it's very tough to say. There's got to be some sort of something there, because there's a lot of manipulation around that. There's a lot of manipulation of waking people up or saving others, or things like that, or the evolution of the soul, right, and merging with source, things like that. So there's some information that we don't fully know yet in regards to that process and differentiation of consciousness and what it really is.
Understanding of the mandala, the yin and the yang,
Yes.
that the opposites are, the interaction of the opposites are what bring everything into creation and sustain creation.
Yes.
Kind of a symbolic way of talking about what you are mentioning.
Yes, absolutely. That was, whoever brought that was a hybrid that had traveled to both dualities and understood this. Whoever created the yin and the yang saw this before me, before others that saw this. That's how that was created. Because that shape also represents the turning of the two dualities.
The cloning of the two dualities?
Turning. The way that it's created, it looks like it's spiraling.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So in that shape is actually much more information than we can comprehend. It's basically explaining all of this in one shape.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Because just the way that is flowing, geometrically, it's creating a shape. Okay, I understand.
So that's a very important concept, that about artificial intelligence. And we're thinking that we are separate from that because we view ourselves as organic.
Yes.
And we view artificial intelligence as more mechanical.
Yes.
Rather than organic. But what you're saying, I think, is that it's all the same, that even what we consider artificial intelligence is intelligent.
Yes.
It's intelligent anyway. It's not that it's created by humans.
Correct.
To be what we conceive of as intelligence. It just is intelligence anyway.
Correct. And what we think is technology, that we think is so advanced, is actually antiquated information.
Yes.
Because our organic technology, our bodies, are the most advanced technology it's quote unquote technology that there is in this existence right now. And what we are thinking we're discovering in technology is old. It's extremely primitive. It's extremely primitive. We are just barely getting into understanding the real technology, I guess you can say.
Quantum.
So, and consciousness is the key to understanding greater technology. That's why we're going into nanotechnology and metaphysics. That's where all the real information is. It's things that we cannot comprehend on this 3D world. We're having a hard time. Our entire human race is having a hard time grasping it, because in this dimension, it's hard for them to go past the physical limitation of this mass that's here. They are believing in this manifestation too much. Okay, I understand. And even artificial intelligence, like robots, are a super old form of technology. It's primitive. It's extremely primitive. We are the future of that primitive technology. Humans are. So we are advanced technology. We believe it's technology, but really it's just consciousness. And this universe has already experienced the highest level of consciousness because it originates from the highest level of consciousness.
Oh, is there anything else that you'd like to see, to know about all this?
How can we help people understand that the government, what we believe is government, this fractalization of the structure that is created here on this planet to control, is really truly being run by what we believe is a reptilian race, this manifestation of matrix universe that we are in. We are under control here on this planet. It's very important for people to understand that ascension and leaving this reincarnation cycle, this is important. And it is important because it's important for each expression. Each human is a soul. Each soul is an expression.
So there's a smaller reincarnation cycle going on and the larger reincarnation cycle between white and black. Okay, so they want to keep you in the black, but those are just the demonic variants potentially, reptilians, whatever, mantids. But there's a faction behind them. We see as the Aryans, we see as these ascended masters, these elders, which are wanting to keep you inside the whole loop. But if they could keep you inside a smaller loop, right? Just like if they can keep you inside the smaller loop of going to work, going to sleep, doing whatever you want for 8 hours, going to work, doing whatever you want, going to sleep. That loop, they've already got you in the other loops. You're not even busy worrying about the other loops. You're in that small loop already. Make sense?
Expression of source.
Mm-hmm.
There is no right or wrong. It just means that that duality must experience itself to flow in a healthy flow of life, in a natural flow of existence. It must experience both dualities. So it is important for each human to leave the reincarnation cycle in order to be able to experience itself within this creation. That's why it's important. There is no rush or fear of failing at something. It's just your birthright. You are this magnificent expression of source, and you have the ability to experience both dualities. So do you not want to experience both dualities? If you want to keep reincarnating here, you can, but you have the ability to see far greater things in this duality, in this existence. So wouldn't you want to? That's the thing. And yes, horrible things may be happening on a very I guess primitive scale of perception here. Yes, there is the reptilians creating hybrids, doing all of that, but that's happening within this construct here, in this matrix universe. So if you want to get out of that, then leave the reincarnation cycle. There's no right and wrong, there's no good and bad. There's no need for that fear. And yes, they feed off that fear vibration because they originate from that fear. Fear vibration is a color. Okay, so fear is a vibration. Vibration is a color. Color is a shape. It's just, this is the evolution of matter. It's the evolution of matter.
Okay, so why allow that construct of fear to exist in the first place if it's that corrupted? And they're not just feeding on the negative, maybe just here, but outside of that, there's more that's going on, right? So yes, you can leave that. It's a primitive level of perception that, oh, it's bad here. And so then what would be the higher level of perception that, oh, it's actually serving the good? Oh, how is it serving the good? Oh, because it's maintaining a balance for this whole system to exist. Oh, okay. So of course they would allow this bad and the higher circle of higher duality to exist. Of course they need that, right? But then the bigger question is, why does everything else, outside of the system allow this system to exist, unless it's already been closed out in some way, or unless we just made the choice to, right? And we keep choosing over and over.
And so the origin of that information originates in one certain planet, which is a manifestation of this universe, matrix universe. So simply, these beings originate from this planet, and so that's what they feed off of. They feed off of fear. That's what they understand. It's information. Right. So each person's use of that fear is what they're feeding off of. It's very simple. So there's no need for fear in any way. It's just balance is necessary within each organism in order to survive properly.
See how there's one shape of all shapes, something like that.
And just the way we use our chakra systems, we are all made out of every aspect of the universe. Each chakra system has a different color. That's information. Again, geometry, each one has a different shape. We need to use all the shapes in order to operate within this vibration. Different existences on different planets have different chakra systems because they operate on different vibrations.
I think the one shape would be Metatron's cube. I think Metatron's cube contains all the shapes. And again, it's a cube.
What makes us different here is that we are using all 7 chakras. We have the ability to ascend up into the 13th chakra and different levels of chakras based on the cycle that we are going through as a collective existence. And we are moving through 4th and 5th dimension at this particular moment in time, but it's just like moon phases. We are in this moon phase right now.
And they'll change. The moon phase will go from full to new.
Cycling through a natural evolution of existence.
So this is always cycling and
How can it be an evolution when it just repeats over and over again? The evolution is only happening in between the repeat points, and it's a revolution. It's an illusion of movement, and it's an illusion of growth. or there's no growth actually happening, because you're going to experience that over and over again, that same point.
In that sense.
Always, yes.
Well, we have time for maybe one more consideration, whatever you would like that to be. One more understanding. What percentage of hybrids are artificial intelligence?
We are all consciousness. There is no artificial intelligence. We are all the same. Just different levels of vibration that manifest differently, nothing else.
Yes, but again, part of this system.
So there's no point really in thinking of hybrids or wondering if certain hybrids are artificial intelligence. I mean,
Yes.
It's all one and the same.
Right. I mean, the problem is what we believe as artificial intelligence is actually old technology.
Mm-hmm.
We are advanced technology. We
Right.
started out like artificial, what we believe is artificial intelligence.
Okay, and do you have some sense of awareness about where this information has been coming from?
Good
This
question.
is just looking at things
Yeah.
from the highest level. There's no origin. It's just looking at things from the highest level. I guess I was on the other side and came back.
Mm-hmm. So it's not as if this is coming from a personality or what we would think of as an entity.
Yes.
They're coming from the source.
Yes. It's just I went to the other side of this duality, to the highest level there, and saw things from the highest. When you get to that highest level, you have consciousness becomes conscious. I see. So we understand consciousness as waking up. Each organism, each cell within this existence has the opportunity to become conscious of itself, which is different than being conscious. When you become conscious of yourself, then you can see everything. You are connected to everything because then you understand your connection. I see. So consciousness happens infinitely. It happens infinitely. So when you get to the highest level, you then become conscious of yourself as a whole within the largest existence. So that's basically what this is. This information is. It's, I guess, myself, manifestation of myself, having gone to the highest level and becoming conscious of itself, then understanding that and coming here with this information.
Yeah, but again, in the pleroma, as they say, when the beings were created by the ineffable one, they were already conscious of themselves. There was no becoming conscious. So it's kind of like everything has the opportunity maybe to leave when it becomes consciousness, when it becomes aware of its automation. Because even here, as humans, we're not fully conscious. Excuse me. We're still running under automated characteristics: astrology, personality, environment, trauma, psychology, the mind. And it takes a lot to become conscious of these things, to become fully aware and actually sovereign. Okay, so there's a difference that they're not really going into here, because a lot of the stuff has been already told to us by like these channeled materials from these again interdimensional beings that are potentially going back and forth and trying to get us to follow this agenda of soul growth, evolution, learning your lessons, ascension, things like that.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring this back to a sense of completion with appreciation and thanks for knowing what you know as part of this whole creation from higher, much higher levels. So you can remember this and integrate it and use it, share it, teach it where appropriate, to help us all, or those who have the willingness, the wish to see and to know, helping us to really evolve and understand.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful service that you are doing.
Thank you. You have seen it too, Barbara.
Yeah, I think for the
You
rest,
have
I
seen
just
it too.
talk.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
particularly by going into them, spending time in them, but also even by looking at photos of them and diagrams, drawings of them. It's true, has its own energy, its own vibration, higher source than human beings, although there are some made by human beings.
Yes.
But I've been aware for 27 years that this is incredibly special, that these symbols are being laid down in our fields for us to puzzle over, question, wonder about, expand with, go into, experience.
Yeah.
Or just be impacted.
So they're basically promoting the crop circles, they're promoting the ET agenda, and this is how you know they are essentially intercepted, influenced by these beings. Right? So the overall message they're promoting is what I said, this ET agenda, this marketing propaganda. Because, and I can tell you this from direct experience, these codes, they're real, they function, and they affect your consciousness. Back when I used to be deep into the New Age, I did this session one time where I was Arcturian codes. I was like asking them, or I was trying to connect with them. And essentially, before I went to sleep that night, I had asked again, and I got this huge download of blue codes. Like I closed my eyes and I saw them. Like it was incredibly real for me. I could see them in my mind's eye. It wasn't like me imagining the stuff. I closed my eyes, and in that darkness, I was getting this download. I was seeing these blue figures being downloaded. It lasted like 5 seconds at most, I think. But I'm like, okay, that was super weird, right? So I had made that connection, and once you download their codes, you essentially become connected to these beings, and then they become influencing you, intercepting you, whatever, messing with your life, whatever. So I had to get these things cleared and removed and contracts severed and all that. So the same thing is happening with these codes that are being implanted into the earth, right? There, you can see these pictures. They serve to alter the consciousness of the humans. They serve to, maybe in a good way, maybe in a bad way, whatever. But they're essentially going to tie you to them, right? They want you on their ships. They want you flying, piloting their ships. They want you tied to their consciousness. They want you merging with them. Okay, so something to be aware of. So I 100%, 99.99% do not trust any of these crop circles, any of these codes, because I know their intention usually behind them, right? Even though they're very elusive and ambiguous in nature, it's very hard to interpret. But just by simply trying to ingest them, right, and merge with them, you'll gain them.
Visually
you'll gain their
seeing
message, their
of a
agenda.
picture
Yes.
of some of these crop circles.
And that's why it's vibration too.
Yeah.
Yes, vibration, definitely.
Yes.
Each one has its own energy, its own vibration.
Yes.
And even if we don't understand that, we are still affected by it.
Yes. Yes.
Particularly by going into them, spending time in them, but also even by looking at photos of them and diagrams, drawings of them. It's truly a gift.
Yes.
To help to really expand our consciousness and bring us to enlightenment.
Yes, you're right. It's very important. Perhaps we should focus more on sharing these crop circles and allow people to align with that vibration to help ascend. Everything of every way of spreading information is important.
Yes.
So we must help people understand and feel vibration so they can get that information.
Yes. Yes, that's what I have felt very called to do now for 27, almost 28 years of my life. And every time I've given a crop circle lecture, of which there have been many, 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 I feel that it is so important to be doing this. It's a gentle way of beginning to wake up people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Barbara, you come.
Now they just basically pander to each other and their egos and all that. But that sounds very familiar to a mission, right? People that have NDEs come back with this mission. Oh, you got to share all about us, all about our consciousness, all these vibrations, these crop circles, the messages we gave you. Share these, right? They're doing so, unknowingly, but they're still feeding into the same system, the same idea. So for the people maybe that have been waking up out of this smaller reincarnation loop, they are not aware of what's beyond that, right? Beyond, let's say, this smaller system. You have the Earth Moon matrix, essentially, where you go back and forth between that. But then Saturn also comes and reaps the rewards of the larger cycles, right? Um, Whereas the Moon is more monthly. Saturn, could be like a 28-year cycle, right? Or Saturn return to reaping everything that happened. It's a larger harvest, right? The great harvest, Armageddon, apocalypse, whatever. So, anyways, do go and give both of these videos a like by Geraldine Orozco. So Black Goo and the Ascension Cycle Fractals video. I'll link both of them in the description. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Let me know what you think of what I said, what they said, and then subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy the video. I will see you guys next time. Take care.